Ever think about the most terrifying creatures that have ever walked the earth, swam in our oceans, or soared through the skies? I'm not just talking about your average creepy crawlies. I mean the kind of real-life monsters that would make a T-Rex look like a puppy. We're about to dive deep into a world of prehistoric nightmares, creatures so terrifying they defy imagination. Let's start our journey back in time, way back, to the Paleozoic era. Picture this. You're swimming in the ancient oceans, and suddenly you see something lurking in the depths. It's not a shark, it's something far, far older. Meet Dunkleosteus, a prehistoric fish that was essentially a swimming pair of bone-crushing jaws. This beast was a 10-meter-long armored predator. Its head and chest were covered in thick, bony plates, making it a living tank. But the most terrifying part? It didn't have teeth. Instead, it had two pairs of sharp, bony plates that acted like a self-sharpening guillotine. It could snap its jaws shut with a force of over 8,000 pounds per square inch, powerful enough to bite a great white shark in half. Dunkleosteus was the apex predator of its time, and nothing in its ocean was safe. Imagine being in the water with that thing. No thank you. Now let's crawl out of the water and onto land. If you think spiders are scary now, you haven't met their ancient relatives. Welcome to the Carboniferous period, an era famous for its giant insects. And the king of these creepy crawlies was Arthropleura. Imagine a millipede, but instead of being a few inches long, it grew up to 2.5 meters. That's over 8 feet long. It was the largest known land invertebrate of all time. While scientists believe it was likely a herbivore, just picture an 8-foot-long, armored, multi-legged creature scurrying towards you through a dense, swampy forest. Its sheer size would be enough to give anyone nightmares for life. It's a good thing these giant bugs aren't around today, right? Sticking with the theme of oversized terrors, let's talk about snakes. Are you afraid of snakes? Well, get ready to meet the mother of all snakes, Titanoboa. Living around 60 million years ago, just after the dinosaurs died out, this was a serpent of truly epic proportions. We're talking about a snake that could reach up to 13 meters or 42 feet in length and weigh over a ton. To put that in perspective, that's longer than a school bus and heavier than a small car. Titanoboa was a constrictor, like a modern-day anaconda, but on a scale that is hard to comprehend. It would have hunted giant crocodiles and turtles in the tropical jungles of what is now Colombia. It was the largest predator on the planet for millions of years, a true titan that ruled the post-dinosaur world. Flying through the prehistoric skies wasn't much safer. Forget about birds of prey, let's talk about Quetzalcoatlus. This was not a dinosaur but a pterosaur, a flying reptile from the late Cretaceous period, and it was the size of a giraffe. Yes, you heard me right. With a wingspan of up to 12 meters or 40 feet, Quetzalcoatlus was the largest flying animal of all time. When it was on the ground, it stood as tall as a modern giraffe, walking on all fours. It had a long, toothless beak and a massive head. Scientists believe it would stalk its prey from the ground, much like a modern stork, snapping up small dinosaurs and other animals. Imagine seeing something that big soaring overhead, blocking out the sun. It's a truly humbling and terrifying thought. But what about the oceans during the time of the dinosaurs? The Mesozoic era was home to some of the most fearsome marine reptiles ever. And at the top of that food chain was the Mosasaurus. Popularized by a certain dinosaur movie, the real Mosasaurus was even more terrifying. These were not dinosaurs, but a type of aquatic lizard closely related to modern monitor lizards. Growing up to 18 meters or 60 feet long, they were colossal marine predators. They had a second set of teeth in their palate, called pterygoid teeth, which ensured that once they caught their prey, there was no escape. They ate anything they could catch, from giant fish and sharks to other marine reptiles, and even an occasional unlucky dinosaur that ventured too close to the water's edge. They were the undisputed kings of the Cretaceous seas. Of course, we can't talk about scary prehistoric creatures without mentioning the dinosaurs themselves. While T-Rex gets all the fame, there were other theropods that were just as if not more terrifying. Take Spinosaurus, for example. Longer and heavier than a T-Rex, Spinosaurus was a semi-aquatic dinosaur perfectly adapted for life both on land and in water. It had a massive sail on its back, a long crocodile-like snout filled with conical teeth and powerful claws. It was the largest carnivorous dinosaur ever discovered, a versatile predator that could hunt giant fish in the river systems of North Africa and also tackle prey on land. Its unique adaptations made it a truly unique and formidable creature, a dinosaur unlike any other. And what about a dinosaur that was built for pure speed and slashing power? Meet Utahraptor. While its smaller cousin, Velociraptor, gets a lot of attention, Utahraptor was the real terror of the raptor family. It was a dromaeosaur that lived during the early Cretaceous period and was significantly larger than the raptors you see in movies. Standing about 6 feet tall and over 20 feet long, it was a powerfully built predator. Its most fearsome weapon was the massive 9-inch-long sickle claw on each foot. It would use these claws to slash and disembowel its prey. Hunting in packs, a group of Utahraptors would have been one of the most efficient and deadly killing machines of the prehistoric world. Now let's journey back into the water, but this time let's talk about sharks. The Megalodon. The name itself sends shivers down the spine. This was the largest shark that ever lived, a true monster of the deep. It cruised the oceans from about 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Estimates suggest it could grow up to 18 meters or 60 feet long, 3 times the size of the largest great white sharks today. Its jaws were over 7 feet wide, filled with serrated teeth the size of a human hand. The bite force of a megalodon was the most powerful of any creature ever, strong enough to crush a small whale's skull. It was an apex predator that fed on whales, dolphins, and other large marine animals. The thought of something that massive and powerful lurking beneath the waves is the stuff of true primal fear. Let's go back even further in time to the Permian period before the first dinosaurs. This era had its own set of terrifying predators, and one of the top ones was Gorgonops. The name means Gorgon face, and it's easy to see why. This was not a dinosaur or a reptile, but a synapsid, a creature more closely related to mammals. Gorgonops was a wolf-sized predator, but with one key feature, a pair of massive, saber-like canine teeth. It was one of the first animals to evolve this killing adaptation. It was a fast and powerful hunter, the apex predator of the late Permian. It represents a different kind of terror, a glimpse into the strange and brutal world that existed long before the age of dinosaurs. Finally, let's look at a creature from South America that lived much more recently, during the Cenozoic era. After the non-avian dinosaurs went extinct, mammals began to diversify, and in South America, which was an isolated continent for millions of years, a unique group of predators evolved, the terror birds. Ferustrasids, as they are scientifically known, were large, flightless, carnivorous birds. The largest among them, like Kelenken, stood up to 10 feet tall. They had massive, eagle-like heads with a huge hooked beak, which they would use like a pickaxe to strike down and kill their prey. They were fast runners, capable of chasing down the strange mammals of ancient South America. Imagine a 10-foot-tall bird with a killer beak running at you at high speed. It's a terrifying image and a reminder that nature has produced monsters in all shapes and sizes throughout history. These are just a handful of the scariest, most awe-inspiring creatures that have ever existed on our planet. From the bone-crushing jaws of Dunkleosteus to the giant slashing claws of Utahraptor and the sheer, overwhelming size of Titanoboa and Megalodon, the history of life on Earth is filled with nightmares made real. Each of these animals was a master of its environment, a perfectly evolved predator at the top of its food chain. Learning about them is not just about indulging in a bit of prehistoric horror. It's about appreciating the incredible and sometimes terrifying diversity of life and the epic story of evolution that has played out over hundreds of millions of years. It really makes you appreciate living in a time without 10-foot-tall killer birds or bus-sized snakes, doesn't it? We've only scratched the surface today. The prehistoric world is filled with countless other terrifying creatures, each with its own unique and horrifying way of life. Which of these creatures do you think is the scariest? Or is there another prehistoric monster that gives you the chills? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading about your favorite prehistoric nightmares. If you enjoyed this journey into the terrifying past, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of dinosaurs and other amazing prehistoric animals. We have a lot more incredible stories from Earth's ancient history to share with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.